Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and people of the internet. I am James Phoenix, and this is another fantastic episode of Disney Heroes here on Pez of the Mind. Joining me, as always, in this episode are our cast members: the best one, Richter,
Hello.
and the other one, Marcus Shadow.
What's up?
This is episode 12 for those of you keeping score at home. We're in the home stretch, people. As a reminder, episode 16 will be our grand finale. So, we're just going to keep on keeping on. For those of you that weren't here last week, the team fought off Zira, the evil lioness from Lion King 2, and discovered that perhaps the light may not be as passive as once believed in the battle against the demons. We enter, as always, at headquarters on Discovery Island as Noah is giving a briefing to the team. So, as you guys know, I've been running some more tests and testing a few hypotheses after that surprise during our fight with Zero. According to the readouts, during the time of that battle, it looks like there was a spike in the light energy contained within our stores. So something caused the light energy to form that construct, and the general form of the construct is similar to the way the demons use the darkness. So it would seem to be not exactly the same, but analogous enough. Which means, to be honest, I don't even know. Will we start seeing heroes? I don't know if I'd go that far, but it seems at the very least we're getting some more help than we initially anticipated. And that, of course, is always helpful given that they're not letting up.
I know, we could really use the help, so I'm glad that it's coming, but you're right, that's not what I would have expected either.
Yeah, no kidding. But it's cool, right? Kid, what? I think it's cool we're getting help. Jeff just face palms and shakes his head.
He's not wrong, Jeff. The fact that the light has, after all this time, the light has started developing some of the abilities to counter in response to the darkness is kind of cool.
Yeah, but number one, can we trust it? Number two, I don't like the idea that we may start becoming dependent on that.
Well, I don't think we'd ever necessarily become dependent upon it. The thing about Disney heroes is, generally speaking, they're not fighters for the most part. I mean, if you look through our catalog of heroes, the closest you might come to a fighter would be, say, Hercules, for example, and that's because he was a god renowned for fighting. Most Disney heroes usually rely on cunning and outsmarting their adversaries, or letting their adversaries' own arrogance be their downfall. So I would imagine the light is not going to start necessarily forming heroes to fight all the demons. They probably wouldn't be all that effective at it if they did. But if there are ways that it can do little things here and there to help us, it seems more likely that they would, basically a more passive approach rather than the active approach that the demons take.
Well, yeah, maybe more than we would come to rely on it. Maybe it means that it can't rely on us. Maybe it's becoming more independent, and at some point it might not even need us anymore, which is kind of a somber thought.
See, again, I don't think that would ever happen, because if it could do that, it probably would have done it already. The light has been around just as long as the darkness. Just as the demons realize the darkness itself is not what is taking form and fighting us as Jafar or Scar. Remember, this is the demons that have formed out of the darkness, and they are using the darkness against us. I would say the light itself is giving us benefit, but other than something generic, like even a form in the clouds was probably a strain on it. It's more like The light is trying to use us in the way that the darkness uses the demons.
Makes sense.
We are its avatars, for lack of a better term.
Jeff looks up from the face palm, and that's why I'm concerned. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like being used. Remember, we didn't sign up to do this because these light beings wanted us to do it. I signed up to do this because I want to protect those people out there, and because it's the right thing to do. If I'm being used by these so-called light beings, then who's to say what we're doing is the right thing?
So you're saying the right thing. You saw the parks be destroyed by demons?
No. I'm saying we need to take our destiny to our own hands. We were doing just fine using the abilities, but now you're saying these light things may be only allowing us abilities as they see fit because they're almighty gods. That's
I think
exactly what we're fighting against. It makes us no better than them.
that's a bit of a flawed interpretation. Couple of things. Number one, they're not gods. It's a light that has formed. Remember, the light is only there because it is generated by the hearts of those who believe, just like the darkness has been generated by, as I mentioned when I recruited you, the increased, despite their role, love of the villains. That's why the darkness and the demons are able to gain power from it in the first place. However, on the side of the light, remember, as the light is goodness, it is the belief that the right thing will always come to pass, that the heroes will always win. That is what powers it, what powers us, what powers these watches. Hell, your own individual hearts are what have given you your forms to help fight this, because the light read your heart and determined which forms best suited you as a person and as a heart. The fact is, the light is not going to dictate what we do. I honestly don't think it would ever want to. But I don't mean to have to counter your point, Jeff, but doing fine? Let's go over what's happened so far. We've had one base ransacked and destroyed. We've had you go off and try to kill us not once but twice. We've been sucked into the underworld and nearly destroyed by an evil version of our own powers. Yes, we've come out on the positive end of those, but barely on several counts. If the light is willing to help us counteract these demons, because it seems like the demons are getting more powerful, I mean, if we can't take these guys down, what are we going to do against Scar? The light is just recognizes that we are fighting for good, that we are doing the right thing, and that's why it's trying to help us. I don't think the light necessarily has the strength and ability to outright counter the darkness. That's why it's trying to give us benefit, to help us.
Adrian walks up to Jeff and puts a hand on his shoulder. Dude, think of it this way. Think of it like Power Rangers. Jeff looks up at him. Say what? Well,
wait, what?
Well, yeah. I mean, the way the powers work in most of the Power Rangers, the powers give them new abilities, new Zords and stuff when the powers feels that they're ready or when they've earned it. Isn't that kind of like what the light magic is doing to us? As we're earning it, as we're showing that we're ready for it, they are bestowing us greater gifts. I mean, in that last fight against Zira, the light being of Mufasa came down and granted Jeff a quick power boost as Simba because he deemed that his heart was ready. Kind of like Power Rangers and the Morphing Grid, right?
I suppose it's accurate. We only own that property for a few years, so I'm not as familiar with it as some of the others, but it sounds about right. I suppose it's more like, yeah, and remember, the light even making itself known was to help protect the innocent, because, the lionesses were being used again. That already happened multiple times, and maybe because it knew we had to fight it, the light didn't want the lionesses to get hurt, so like I said, I'm not sure if the light is even necessarily conscious. It's just more a good energy that wants good to be done, and therefore is trying to help us. I mean, that's the truth be told is we don't really understand it. We barely understand the darkness. And even that, when everything has been thrown at us, there are way more questions than answers. These are the kind of ethereal forces that we'll never completely have a grasp on. But the thing is, if you've ever watched any films that our company has put out, you realize the light and the darkness has never necessarily been about encompassing light and darkness. It's been about belief in those facets. Even when the heroes are overcome by the forces of darkness, they believe in the light and that good will win, and that is what pushes them forward. If we want to succeed here, we have to believe that what we're doing is right and that using the light in the way we have and that the light helping us is the right thing. We have to believe in the light the way it has, based on its actions, apparently believed in us.
Adrian pats Jeff on the back of the shoulder. Dude, come on. You know Noah's right, man. Look at everything that's happened. I say we could use all the help we could get. Jeff nods. You may be right about that.
Noah turns to the Keith brothers. What do you guys think?
David nods. Yeah, I think that's the best assessment. He turns to look at Alfred, who's absorbed in his phone. Sure thing, man. Yep, he says while fiddling with the screen. David turns back to the group. Uh-huh. He flashes them a weird smile.
Jeff raises an eyebrow. What's your brother doing over there?
I don't know. It's fine. It's just he's being himself. He does this sometimes. Alfred pushes a button on the top of his phone, puts it in his pocket. Nah, it's cool. What's going on now? Right, light, good. Okay, what?
Noah facepalms and looks up. Were you just playing Pokemon Go during my briefing?
No, I was just checking it, seeing how it's doing. It's cool.
Noah shakes his head, but before he can speak again, the alarms go off. David, remind me to fix that alarm. It sounds like a dying walrus.
Maybe that's just the one that came with it.
I don't know. Anyway, Noah spins around to the computer panels. Interesting. I'm definitely getting a reading of the darkness, but it's not as pronounced and specific as we normally get. Almost as if it's there, but, well, not quite active. Maybe we can nip this one in the bud and save ourselves a little effort this time. Looks like whatever it is coming from Epcot. Interesting. We haven't had a whole lot of reports there yet.
Jeff walks over and looks over Noah's shoulder. Yeah, we might want to be careful with this one. Epcot, kind of massive. And if the reading's not that strong, we won't know where the hell inside that place this is coming from.
True. I can tell you at the very least that it's coming from the southerly... Wait, no. Noah double checks the chart. Sorry, I misread that. The northerly portion of the park before the World Showcase, so that limits it at least a little bit. I recommend we head over, start at Spaceship Earth, and then split into two teams. We can search either side of the Interventions attraction, and then move on from there.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan. All right.
David turns to look at his brother, who is no longer there. Son of a... What the... It's fine. We'll call him if we need him.
All right. Let's go. The team heads out of headquarters. The group arrives at Epcot and descends down towards Spaceship Earth. Ah, yes, the golf ball, as they call it. The most underappreciated of the Disney World parks, don't you think?
Jeff puts his hands on his hips. You know, this is actually the first time I've ever been here.
It's interesting. You know, most people think of Disney World and the Magic Kingdom as what comes to mind, which makes sense. The Magic Kingdom was built first with the intention of being, of course, the counterpart to the primary areas of Walt Disneyland out in California, but Epcot was always one of Walt's dreams. The idea that a representation of the entire world could exist here. The idea that a global community of the future. In fact, when Walt first designed this area, he unfortunately didn't live to see its completion. But when he designed the Epcot, initially it was actually going to be a community. People were actually going to live here.
Oh wow.
That yeah, it's a lot of people don't know that, but in fact, there was actually you'll notice if you look at the structure of the park, there are specifically between the different World Showcase bungalows, there's surprising amounts of space, as if something else could have been built in between. And that's because there were originally going to be residences built in between, and the entire thing was going to be a community. The bungalows were converted into more World Showcase specific things as time went on when Walt passed, and that general heart of that project kind of fell by the wayside, and it became the Epcot that we have today.
Almost
David,
too
continue.
bad Walt's dream didn't come to fruition. That sounds kind of awesome and something, the world of today would probably get behind.
It is. It's rather interesting. Being that we have access to the archives, I can show you some of the plans later when we get back. But in the meantime, I suggest we split up. Um, Adrian, why don't you come with me? We'll go check out Innovations West. Jeff, David, you search Innovations East.
You got it, boss.
All right.
Call on the
Adrian
watch. Call on
nods.
the watches if you find anything.
Understood.
Gotcha.
The teams split up and head toward their respective wings of the Innovations attraction. As they walk through, they observe the the various segments of the Innovations attractions, such as the area where can design their own park ride, and many other unique sciencey type things.
Wow, this is kind of impressive.
I know, right? Some of this stuff like almost seems fantasy, but some of it, it's real in some sense, and the fact that they came up with it well in advance is pretty amazing.
Jeff nudges David in the side and points at the build your own theme park portion of the exhibit. What do you think? Prototype for Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Must be.
Meanwhile, Adrian follows Noah inside the other side and stops right at the entrance and looks up at all the exhibits, his mouth almost hitting the floor in amazement. Whoa, this is awesome. Adrian blinks as he realizes Noah's not there anymore because he continued in. What? Noah, wait, whoa! Adrian runs in after him.
Sorry, didn't mean to run too far ahead. I just always liked this. Things like this, displaying the technology of the future, is kind of what inspired some of the original Imagineers to, take the steps of advancing our knowledge in the magics. That's why we have the watches. I mean, obviously nothing quite as advanced here, but still amazing things to see.
Yeah, most definitely. All of a sudden, Adrian's watch goes off. The heck? Looks at the watch. Dude, I think it's detecting something here. Whatever we're looking for has got to be here, I think.
Noah checks his watch. It's definitely nearby. It's got to be in one of these buildings.
Meanwhile, Jeff and David are walking through the facility. Suddenly, the doors close on both sides. I don't think it was supposed to do that.
Well, maybe we're closer than we thought.
Jeff brings up his watch to his mouth. Noah, the doors just kind of closed on us. Is that normal? Noah, hello.
Maybe it's blocking communications?
Can you guys read me in there? What happened?
Jeff walks up to the far door and tries it. Nope, we're locked in.
That's not good. Be careful. Something must be going on. We specifically had everything unlocked so we could get in here.
Jeff turns around to David. Ideas?
David looks around at the exhibits. I don't know. I don't really want to break our way out. He notices a small exhibit on the side. Wait a minute. He walks over to it. These look familiar. Wait a minute. I don't see this one on the list. This might be something, suspicious here. Come on over. He waves over.
Jeff walks over to David. Hang on a sec, Noah. Looks like we might have found something. Yeah, what is it, Dave?
It's some experimental micro nanobots here. I don't recall this on the list, and I don't know if you know anything about this.
That's a little advanced for interventions. I don't recall anything like that being in there.
That would also be something relatively new. Noah, when was the last time this exhibit was renovated?
The west side closed for renovation about a year and a few months ago. It reopened since. There hasn't been any renovations on east in quite some time, though.
So they wouldn't have had time to put something like this in with how advanced technology this would be. Got a bad feeling about this. Come on, Dave. We should probably try to find a way out.
David starts to walk away while still looking at the exhibit. He then turns his head. Yeah, you're right. Maybe the other set of doors?
We can try it.
The two wander over and check the other set of doors, but find them also sealed shut, apparently from the outside.
Well, great.
There's got to be some kind of, emergency exit or something.
The two walk back through the exhibit looking for some kind of emergency exit. As they do, the nanobots in the exhibit seem to rise up into the air, seemingly forming a construct.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, crap.
The nanobots fly forward in a swarm. David manages to dodge out of the way, but Jeff is hit. He flies into a wall and slumps down, conscious but hurt.
Noah, get in here.
Understood, we're on our way. Adrian, come on.
Right behind you.
Adrian and Noah run toward the other side of interventions.
David watches around as the bots swarm around him. Seeing an opening, he tries to run over to Jeff, but the swarm blocks his way. Whoa!
Noah and Adrian arrive outside and notice similar swarms of nanobots are what are blocking the exit, almost forming a solid wall, preventing entry. Yeah. I think some of those same nanobots are out here blocking the doors. That's why you guys can't get out.
You know, dudes, I don't think that was an exhibit.
As Jeff says this, David looks behind him and notices that standing on the table where the exhibit formerly was is a man in a long black trench coat and a black and white kabuki mask.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I recognize. The nanobots come to the side and grab David's arms and pin them to his sides. Oh, wait. Oh, no. The figure then looks at him and lifts up his arm. David is lifted off the ground. He then swings him to the side, and David goes flying and rolls on the ground. Ow.
Jeff looks up through blurred eyes as he's trying to shake off the injury. Oh, what the... Uh, Noah, I don't recognize this guy. Black trench, kabuki mask, ring a bell. Adrian chimes in first. Yokai? No way!
That's one of our more recent movies. We didn't even actually give him a name in the film. We tacked on the merchandise afterward, but interesting. That's the most recent villain one of the demons is chosen. Be careful. Those nanobots are neurally controlled through his mask, if he's anything like his counterpart.
Oh, great. David quickly twists his watch and slams it down. Armor envelops him as he takes the form of Baymax. Yokai then turns and looks at him, clearly startled to see his nemesis there. Try this one! He launches his fist at Yokai's stomach and hits him square. He goes flying back and hits the ground and comes up against the wall. The fist comes back and he aims both of them. Try these now! And launches both fists. Right before they hit him, Yokai dodges to the side and the fists hit the door and disperse some of the nanobots.
Adrian falls flat on his butt as two red fists come flying through the door. Whoa!
Noah is also caught by surprise and manages to catch himself on a nearby wall. Whoa! Oh. Well, that worked. As the two get up to enter the room, the swarm of nanobots and the man in the black trench coat go flying past out into Epcot. Ah!
Jeff pulls himself up off the wall and stumbles over to David, grabbing hold of David's arm for balance. Oof, that smarts.
You okay, man? I know it's kind of a lot to ask, but we gotta chase him.
Yeah, I think I'll be okay. Jeff hops up on David's back. Let's go.
All right. David hovers off the ground, turns forward, and flies out the door after Yokai. We'll see you guys there. He flies off past Noah and Aiden.
Those nanobots are fast, and so's his Baymax form. Luckily, I have something that can compensate. Noah pops his watch, spins it to the third position, and slams it down. Black armor with blue highlights envelops him, and he pulls a small rod out from behind his back. Need a lift, Adrian?
Sounds good. Adrian jumps on behind Noah on the light cycle.
The light cycle takes off into Epcot, following Baymax and Yokai.
Jeff looks up from David's back. Looks like, oh man, this is not good. Looks like he's going into the showcase itself.
Yeah, it's a big place, but the advantage is it's a circle, so unless he's going to jut out over the water, he's going to end up in the same place he started.
Well, if he wants us to chase him around the world, that's what we're going to do.
All right.
David slows down and stops to let Jeff off.
Jeff hops off and looks around. Well, this is rather impressive. Big body of water. All right. Nanobots, huh? Jeff shifts his watch to position 1. Let's see how tough these little machines are. He slams the watch down as light envelops his body, revealing the form of King Triton, complete with trident.
Good call. The whole showcase is surrounded by water. You'll be able to hit him from anywhere.
So how are we going to track him?
Well, we tracked him in the first place. I mean, he's emitting darkness, and now that he's active, it should be a heck of a lot stronger. It shouldn't be too hard.
Also, he's got all those bots swarming around. I imagine that we could just see a giant column of them hits David from behind, and he goes flying face first onto the ground.
David!
David!
Oh. The bots fly up and transform in the form of a giant bee. It then flies forward and tries to stab Jeff.
What the? All of a sudden, Adrian takes a running jump off the light cycle and in midair transforms. Blue fur erupts over his body as his ears grow big and his teeth grow big. I don't think so! Adrian goes flying through the bee, fist first, dispersing the bee with his enormous strength. Adrian lands in front of Jeff. Nice work, kid. Adrian Stitch looks up and grins at him.
Noah speeds by on the light cycle, further dispersing some of the nanobots. And the group he dispersed begins to try to chase him, but he is faster, evading them. He lures some of them away, hoping to break up the group and give the rest a fighting chance.
Several of the nanobots that have been dispersed on the ground near Stitch begin to form and take the form of a giant snake, which then tries to wrap around him.
What? Oh, for crying out loud. Jeff turns and jumps into the nearby pool of water, and for a moment, it seems as if Adrian's on his own. Dude, what gives? All of a sudden, a column of water erupts next to him. Hang on! That column of water drops on top of Adrian, completely dousing him and the nanobots. That form is immune to damage, right? Yeah? Well, hopefully you're immune to pain. Sorry, kid. Doom! Jeff points his trident and shoots a massive bolt of lightning down right at the nanobots and Stitch, frying the entire area since it's drenched with water. What are you doing? Ah!
Noah sees the large, shocking eruption of electricity from across the World Showcase. Wow, looks like Triton took a few of them down. Let's see what else we can do. He revs the light cycle and speeds around. He pulls a left curve and flips a switch on the cycle, dropping a light wall behind him as he speeds, following his path. He tries to form a square around the nanobots. Several of them crash into the wall and fall down, suffering minor damage, but the rest spin around and take up higher into the air over the wall. They swarm down into the wheel, attempting to clog up the wheels of the light cycle. Whoa! Noah skids around into a donut, spinning. As he does, the nanobots have some trouble holding on, and he gets free enough that he can speed away again. The nanobots continuing to chase him.
David stands up and looks around. He sees a few groups of nanobots up in the air. He flies up and tries attacking them. They disperse and reform around behind him every time he takes a swing. God, this is not the most effective way to fight these guys. He looks down at Jeff, still in the Triton form. He then takes off as the nanobots follow him. Coming in, hope you have another lightning bolt. He then swoops really close to the water and dives up. Several of the nanomachines hit the water and come up a lot slower as water is around them.
Jeff looks around. Whoa! Okay, I guess. Jeff takes a step back onto land next to Adrian, spins around, and points the trident at the water. Well, here's hoping. He discharges his trident into the body of water, shocking the entire pool.
There are several small puffs as the nanomachines begin to malfunction. Some of them survive and continue the assault, but many are sitting unfunctional in the pool. Nice shot, dude! He flies by as several of the nano machines are still chasing him.
Jeff looks at Adrian. You okay, kid? Yeah, I'll be okay. Adrian's fur is a little singed with smoke rising off it. I have an idea. Jeff jumps back in the water. Come on, we're going for a ride. Adrian nods and jumps in as Jeff catches him. Jeff begins swimming super fast through the water. You know, David might be upwardly mobile, but he's not going to be very good up there by himself. I need to get you to him. I'm going to try to draw these things away, keep them around down here. You're going to need to back up David. I'm on it. Jeff then ducks down under the water as Adrian drops down into the water. Whoa, where are you? All of a sudden, the water around Adrian begins to bubble. Hang on tight. Boom! A huge jet of water erupts from below Adrian, shooting him into the air. Whoa! David! Catch me!
David turns and sees him up in the air. You got it! He flies over and under him, catching him, slightly dipping as he does. Oh.
Oof, thanks. From the column of water, Jeff himself erupts. Hey, you nanomachines! Come and get me! Boom! He starts shooting lightning up at the nanomachines from the column of water. Meanwhile, Adrian crawls up on David's back. I hope you got a plan, Dave.
Well, near as I can figure, I'm not sure if fighting the bots is going to help. He then looks through his visor and begins scanning. But if we can find the source... There he is! Floating above the pool, off on the side, he sees Yokai standing on a platform of nanobots, controlling the rest of them. I think I have an idea of how we can get his attention and all of the others too.
I'm all ears, literally. And Adrian points to his big floppy ears.
Okay. Well, hold on tight. He grabs him off his back, holds him in both of his rocket fists, and launches him at Yokai with the rocket fists.
This is your plan?
Yokai turns just in time to see a large furry object fly toward him. He puts up a shield in front of him, of the nanobots.
Adrian sees the shield and manages to wrestle free from the grip of the fists at the last second and does a flip kick off the fist as the fists ram into the shield. He then balls up his own fist and comes flying in behind the fist to break through the shield. Not good enough!
Nanobots scatter everywhere, and Yokai is clearly startled. He moves back to try and get out of the way of them. The fists return to David, who then flies up.
Adrian hits the ground, rolls right into a wall. Boom! Adrian is now dazed.
That wasn't part of it. Yokai is recovered and begins gathering the bots and makes giant fists to swing at David. Whoa! He weaves between them and tries to make his way back to where Jeff is.
Another group of bots swarms near Adrian on the ground, but they try to form a hand to pick him up, but then two shining discs break the construct and the nanobots go flying. Noah tears by on the bike. You okay, Adrian?
I'll be okay. Adrian just falls over.
Noah spins around, regathering the attention of the nanobots and luring them away from Adrian. They try to swarm around him, forming a wall in front of him. Noah pulls back on the bike, dropping the tires on it full force and using it to launch him into the air. From the air, he jumps off the bike, and throws a disc at Yokai.
Yokai, having very few bots left, chooses to swing to the side to try and avoid the disc.
The disc misses and flies back into Noah's hand. Ah! I think you're going to have to take this one, David. These discs aren't going to be too effective against this guy. He's too fast.
All right, do what I can. He sits there swinging at the bots, trying to keep the attention of Yokai. He launches a fist at him. Yokai dodges to the side, his attention squarely on David. He recalls all the bots that he can and makes a giant sword-like object and begins to try to stab at him. Ah! David dives suddenly as it goes over and then reforms to come the other way. Oh boy! He starts to dodge and it clips him in the side. Ah!
Jeff jumps off his water tower, jumps up onto David, who was diving low, runs up David's back, jumps off David's back, and extends his trident as it crackles with lightning. Get off my friend! Jeff flies through the nanobots, lightning energy crackling around him from the trident as it disperses the nanobots. Oh, that's not good. Boom! Jeff is hit by a secondary mass of nanobots. Oof. Lands in the water. Boom, boom, boom.
David recovers and flies down. You okay, man?
Oh, yeah, just give me a sec. Oh.
Noah runs forward to try to help Jeff, but a massive bot hits him in the side. He goes flying into a wall and slumps to the ground.
David looks at all three of his friends and teammates and begins to panic slightly. Oh boy, oh boy. He looks at Yokai. He takes a deep breath. All right, he yells at him. It's just you and me now. He then rockets as fast as he can toward Yokai. Yokai gathers the nanobots in a giant fist and slaps it right at him. David gathers all of his energy and punches through him. Yokai is clearly startled by this turn of events.
Baymax spins around, recouping himself. Yokai tries to recall the remaining bots in front of him in a last-ditch attempt at protection. David cocks his fist and flies toward Yokai. As he does, a light can be seen appearing on his back. It takes the form of a small boy.
Baymax! Destroy him!
As he screams, the light energy transfers into Baymax's fist.
Continuing the dash forward, David is filled with courage. He flies as fast as he can toward Yokai. All right, Dark One. My hand is glowing with an awesome power, and my programming will allow me to hurt you. Time to suck on my missile punch! He launches the fist with all of his might. It hits Yokai square in the face, destroying the mask and sending him flying.
Noah pulls himself to his feet and sees Yokai falling. That'll work. He turns his watch and throws the capture box underneath Yokai. Yokai lands and is pulled into the box on impact.
Adrian pulls himself to his feet. Oh. Next time, I should try punching the wall instead of the bad guy. Oh. Jeff rises up out of the water. Yeah, next time I should watch for the secondary attack. God, that guy had a lot of nanobots.
Yeah, that was... he was kind of a one-hit villain, if you will. That was kind of his only shtick.
It's a pretty powerful shtick, though, David says, landing near them.
Well, mind you, that was just our interpretation of the guy. He originally came from the comics. I can only imagine what he was like there.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff walks over onto land. He was a comic character? Who wrote this guy?
I don't know. We got that property when we bought out Marvel.
He's a
Luckily,
Marvel villain. Oh.
the only one we've actually made a movie of. The rest has been separate, so for the most part, the demons don't seem to go for the newer stuff that we've acquired. They've been around long enough, they don't like those forms, but looks like at least one of them wanted something a little newer.
That's good. I'd hate to fight Demon Darth Maul.
Yeah, luckily we haven't seen that yet.
Well, maybe before they didn't feel they needed to, so maybe we're actually doing better than we might have thought.
That's possible. We have taken down and captured quite a few of them already. Maybe they're getting just as worried as we are. Interesting. Well, at any rate, we better get back to HQ. Who knows what's coming next? The group transforms back and begins heading toward headquarters to prepare for the next adventure. And there we go.
Yay!
Yeah.
I was really tempted to have Alfred walk by after everyone had
That would have been hilarious. You should have
staring
done
at his
it.
phone.
That would have been great.
You should have had him walk in and be like, "Yes, got a Lapras!" Everyone just turns like, "What?"
I'd probably have him walk by and be like, "Still 3 steps?" Even though they patch that out, I just think.
Triton just shocks his phone.
Ah, but I almost had it.
That would have been good. Oh well. Anyway, that was a good episode. A lot of fun. I apologize for lulls. The problem is I was talking when you cued me, but I was muted and didn't realize it a couple of times. That was what kept throwing me off. I apologize.
That's fine.
But yes, fun little episode. That was great. So we're coming into the home stretch. For those of you keeping score at home, as I mentioned earlier, 16 will be our big finale, and 15 and 16 will kind of be a 2-part dealio. So we only got 4 more to go.
I also noticed Genie's rubbing off on David a little bit.
That's kind of the idea.
Genie is part of him, whether he's using the form or not. That's kind of the idea.
True.
So, at any rate, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. This was a lot of fun, as it always is.
Yay.
And we will see all of you wonderful people of the internet next week for another episode of Disney Heroes. Peace.